Good afternoon. Welcome to an Ask AJ, which is actually an Ask A and Ask J. For the first time in probably quite a long time.
Yeah, don't think it's too long, but
Good couple of months, I would say.
yeah.
How will your team do these for
It
us?
should be also an Ask Tanned AJ, if you're thinking why we look so brown. Well, one of us. We're just
Can't
come on
see
holiday,
me.
haven't
We've been on holiday together, which was really
we? Not
lovely.
just us.
Yeah, just us.
We went with family and we just happened to be there together.
We didn't happen to be, it was planned. Planned and booked.
Sort of.
He invited us. It's making it sound like I just tagged along. I was babysitter.
Yeah.
Unplanned. Cinema taker.
You did.
Swim companion.
So
Well,
yeah,
cruise.
what happened is when we had beautiful weather here, we were here, and then we went to the Mediterranean and left you with lots of rain, and we had amazing weather.
40 degrees.
And now we've come back and it's like this.
Yeah.
But what we didn't bring with us from the Mediterranean is lots of buyers.
Things are
they're
quiet.
on the next ship,
They
aren't
are.
they? So the year has been really funny, really. So it started off in January where you couldn't buy a viewing, really. It was really tough. And then out of nowhere from February, March, when was Easter? April.
Yeah, I don't know when in April. I think it was the end of April.
Right up to Easter, it was as strong as a market as we've seen for 2-3 years.
And what we mean by that is lots and lots of viewings, lots and lots of offers, just lots of activity.
And it was quite well balanced, which is rare. So the number of homes coming to market was sort of balanced with the number of buyers and offers and sales. It's usually one way or the other. And then we got a beautiful spell of weather then we got Easter. So our market at the top end usually goes fairly quiet as people go skiing and holiday. Yeah, my kids are at a Windermere school, and Molly said that when she was asked just before Easter, the statement is, "Where are you going?" not "Are you going?" So I think the whole of sort of that market disappears for a couple of weeks. So none of our buyers were around. It was quiet, and we expected it to come back as strong as it was before Easter. And we got hit by some beautiful weather, didn't we? For a couple of weeks, and
Hot, dry.
yeah, and we expected that to be, once that ended, for the buyers to come back, and it hasn't quite worked out like that. And there's no sort of logic behind it. All we know is that it will come back. It always has, and it always will, and it will come back. We hope it's sooner rather than later. We've got lots of, and I mean lots, of beautiful homes coming to market at all different price ranges. So if you are in the market and looking, then please get in touch and we can put you on a list, and you'll be first in the queue to have a look.
We've put some homes on the market recently that have had a huge amount of interest though, but it's not across the board,
No.
is it? It's definitely just certain homes. Have you noticed any particular sort of trends, like prices or types of homes, or homes that need work, homes that don't need work?
Not really. Which is why it's difficult to put your finger on it. It seems to be there are a few homes that are still consistently getting viewings. Again, no logic, and they're in sort of slightly different areas as well. I think one of them is over towards Ulverston, which isn't logical. So yeah, it's a quiet. If you are on the market and you're wondering what's happening at the moment, it is a quiet period. So patience is probably the best thing to.
We have sat on these sofas before and said that, haven't we, before? And then it's just come back
Yeah,
for no reason.
What we know is it will come back, and the key is that you're priced correctly, marketed correctly when that time comes back, and that's what we're sort of setting everyone up to try and
yeah, we've just had some lovely homes just come to market as
yeah,
well.
so
Over
this
70 of them.
This house is the old vicarage in Witherslack, and so how old are we now? 7 years? 8 years old. There's a number of homes that we took on fairly early in our story, Ashdown Jones, and that we have very positive memories of, and this is one of them.
It's a bit of our story.
And it's amazing when they come back through, and this has got an extension and a new kitchen and other little bits, but It's a beautiful home. Actually, the first house that we saw, that I said I would love to live there, and Hannah said the same.
Oh yeah, you said that, didn't you? About this, just remembered.
Yeah.
How much is it on the market for?
Great question.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's a lot. And it's worth it, every penny. We took some absolutely beautiful photographs. I went actually out on this twilight shoot. And
That is nice.
our amazing photographer got some really beautiful photographs.
Yeah, it's funny because if you compare the pictures, the photography, this time to last time, it looks a different house at the back.
Do you mean the photography wasn't as good?
No. I mean, they must have painted it. Or they have painted it, haven't they?
Well, this is new.
Unless
This
there was,
extension.
yeah. But the actual house looks totally different.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah, it's really lovely.
But
So anyway,
yeah,
that's the
it's a
old Victoria
beautiful home.
It's like we've got a few more as well. We went to see a house this morning. I say a house, a home this morning. Phil and I. That is, it's just round the other side of the lake. It's got some lake frontage. Absolutely beautiful home. And we went to see that first 7 years ago. So 2018. You said September, October, didn't you?
Yeah.
We'd only been open a year and a bit, so goodness knows why we were being invited out to a multi-million-pound house. And it was probably the most expensive house we've been invited out to
At the time, yeah.
at the time. Beautiful. It's now worth, what we're going to put it on for?
5 million. Yeah.
We won't say what it was worth last time. But
No.
we did well to hang on to it for 7 years.
Yeah, and if it is something sort of the market you're looking at and lake frontage, then let us know. But it's rare that we go to a home that is beautifully styled outside and inside, and it's not even. It's a different style inside, isn't it? You can tell that a professional designer has done it.
Well, an architect has worked very closely with the owners, plus an interior designer, and that just makes this magic combination. It's very, very high spec. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And what I would say is that they invited us out, a lovely couple, invited us out 7 years ago to ask us what we thought, of their plans. Because their plans were to do some work external to their house, which I won't tell you about because it's still very much in the very early days of being constructed on this house. But what they did was they took our advice and they've spent 7 years, which is longer than we hoped, 7 years
We
implementing
were
the
thinking sort of
advice.
7 months.
Yeah, but they have pretty much double the value of the house in that time.
Yeah, well, because the multiplier of lake frontage has gone through the roof
Yeah, it really has.
since COVID. Really, I remember just before the pandemic, there was a house in stores on the market with lake frontage for like 2.5 and struggling to sell.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can get that now.
what
could
you get
No.
that would
So we have, although there aren't probably enough buyers to go around right now for most of our 70 odd homes, there are too many buyers for lake frontage homes. So if you know, or rather the question is, who do you know who has lake frontage or access to the lake, or even a boathouse or something that has a little portion of access to the lake? We'd love to hear from them or from you, and we're very happy to go and give our time, have a cup of tea, tell you what we think and what's the best marketing advice for you, because you don't know where it might lead, and it might take you 7 years to implement them to market, and that's fine. We're in it for the long term, aren't we?
Yeah, it's hard to think of another 7 years. We'll see. We might still
2032.
be sat here on this
That's
Thursday.
a crazy number, isn't it? 2032. Yeah, it is. So yeah, the advice is, in a nutshell, ask us for our advice. Ask us early for advice, so you don't make a change or a decision that might cost you dearly down the line, because every decision now is exponentially, good or bad, years down the line. And now we've been in it for 8 years, we can see...
8 years?
Yeah.
April 2017. Oh, yeah, it's over 8 years.
Yeah, it was 8 years in April.
Tell you a funny story, quickly. So we've just been on holiday, and on the ship was my boss, who I worked for before we opened here, who lives down in Manchester. What are the chances?
And you weren't very good at that job, were you, it's fair to say?
No.
You didn't, your attendance...
Fortunately, we got on really well, but that was in spite of my performance.
I think if I'd been your boss then, and you were, 24, 25,
Yeah.
if I'd been your boss, I might be thinking, you'll never He'll never make a go of it with
Oh,
his own business.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they all thought that. Yeah, interesting times. And he was reminding me of all these people that were giving me
Grief.
yeah, it was giving me nightmares. Trying not to remember those days.
It was nice seeing him. Was he in the same job?
No, actually they'd been taken over by a big company and had a huge payout. So
Oh.
maybe I did miss it, but
You've got a huge payout at Ashtown Jones.
well, if these buyers come back.
And we'll leave you there. Thanks for watching. See you next week.